you have a GU Patrol that just does not want to give you an accurate fuel gauge reading at any point ever, I'm going to show you how to fix that.
Oh, come on.
Now, I hadn't originally intended on doing a video on this at all, but I figured seeing as how I'm doing it, it might be useful to some of you, so I may as well. So this is the current issue. If I hit the key, sub-tank light stays on. I know that there is fuel in the sub-tank. I don't know how much fuel is in the fuel tank because that's not working properly. So what the fuel gauge is doing is it will jump anywhere from empty to half and just up and down all the time, which I'm thinking might be upsetting the sub-tank. But the issue is I can't rely on the sub-tank if I run out of fuel because it's not working because the fuel gauge is not working. When I press the button, nothing happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is try and sort out the fuel gauge, see if we can do something about that. I did try adding an additional ground to the chassis, that didn't help, so we're just going to disconnect both our batteries and sort this out. Why is there always creatures just around me? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull out all of these little trim pieces. Now, these things are supposed to be screws that you can undo, but they generally suck. I can just pop them out like this. And you've got this big one here, which again, kind of just pop it out like that. Then we're just going to lift the carpet up and fold it back. And it should just sort of untuck from underneath all that. At which point we'll find that there's a hatch here, and we just undo these screws. And if you pull this off, that is your fuel sender. Now this one might be a little bit different because I have a long range tank, but basically they should be roughly there-ish. Hey buddy, that's a big spider. Anyway, we're going to clean this out thoroughly, and then we'll try and take the sender out and see what it looks like. Vacuuming wasn't really working, so we're going to clean up this way and use a ridiculous number of shop towels. And in the process, we'll make everything pretty. Okay, that's about as clean as I can get it. I do not recommend the shop towel method because it sucks. I use like half a roll of towel. I'm still going to get that bit. Anyway. Okay, next we're going to crack these fuel lines, I guess. And they will be crispy because they haven't been done in a long time. And I don't know how much fuel is going to try and flow out of them, so I guess we'll see on that front also. Come on. Okay, that's one. It's leaking a little bit. This other one's worse. Okay, then we'll just undo all those. But first we'll pull this clip through and we'll undo that and get it out of the way. I feel like this might break, but we'll see. Okay, clips apart and it dropped more shit on my tank. God damn. All right, back to cleaning. Okay, that's all the screws out. Yeah. Oh, that's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Yeah, come here, float.
Okay, so we've got the float on the bench here. It doesn't look terrible.
Adjustmenting.
Here's our replacement,
okay, cool.
which I think
looks
pretty close. So I think we should just be able to swap one in and one out, and it should be good.
Now, a couple of things to note here. There is a small amount of wear on the track here, and this is very loose. And this is our, I believe, our sub-tank cut-off float, which, you know, directly goes to this. So if we're getting a bad signal here, it might be what's messing up our fuel gauge and our float. Okay, here's the part I'm going to recommend some caution. We're going to desolder this joint here, and I'm going to need both hands for this, so excuse me. All right, so that's the joint desoldered. Now, if you're not comfortable soldering, this might be something you don't want to try, or you might want to get someone else to do it for you, but it's doable. It's just a little fiddly. And we may have just discovered our issue. Have a look at that. Interesting. That would explain why it works sometimes. Doesn't matter, we'll replace it anyway, but good to know. Okay, so I've got both joints desoldered. I'm going to take this screw out, and this should all come apart now. Again, I'll need 2 hands, so give me a second. Okay, we've desoldered the old wires, we've got the new piece on. Now it's just a matter of hooking up our lines again, and hopefully we'll be back in business, I hope. All right, there we go. New joints are on, new floats on. Let's go throw it back in the car and see if I've saved myself 300 bucks, or if I've just broken it. We'll find out in a minute, I guess. Okay, there we go, moment of truth. Oh, I might have to put you guys down again for a second to do this. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yes, I will, just for a second. I did just notice my yellow wire is also a little fragmented, so that's probably not helping, so we'll maybe do something about that. I've just got it dummy fitted, I've got the line secure, and I've got it hooked up. I just want to make sure it works before I put everything back to rights, so let's check it. Okay, battery's hooked back up. Huh. Is there that much fuel in there? I don't know. Sub-tank light's out. We're still not getting a read on the sub-tank yet. Is it going to move? I think we might have fixed the fuel gauge. I don't know about the sub-tank. I guess we're going to have to wait and see on that one. Because I guess it could be empty. Nope, there it is. That's a separate issue. That's going to be a separate video. Damn it. I really didn't think there was 3/4 of a tank in there. And again, it could be. I'll have a look in a sec. Cool. Alright, cool. We're all back together. We'll put all the covers back on, and I'll report back in a couple of days to tell you how it's going. We've done 206 kilometers. And the gauge is going down, and I never thought I would be so excited to see the gauge steadily go down. But it's working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So our fix, I think, has worked. I want to see the fuel light come on and make sure that we are like, right? But overall, for 60 bucks or 70 bucks, whatever it costs, I'll put a link down there somewhere. I think that this is a good fix. It's way better than buying a $300 or $400 genuine sender, or even the reproduction ones are still pretty expensive. One thing to watch out for: there are cheap aftermarket ones that are in like the $100, $150 range. They're missing some of the wires. Now, if you try and put one of those in, your sub tank will not work at all. So just something to note. But anyway, sub tank's still not working, so I will make another video about how we fix that. But aside from that, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.